Hey, muy buenos días, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. Bueno, mi gente, I just wanted to stop in. Here's a little story that I have put for that other channel, but it never got put out. And it was just talking about a good camarada, a norteño that we wiggled and got busted together in Guanajuato that I would like to put on here. Sorry if I sidetracked from my story. This was part of my story. It got forgotten over there, so we'll put it on here. I just been going through a little struggle, so I haven't sat down and done a recording for you. But I do want to touch in on you guys, and I hope it's to you guys' liking. Again, gracias for all wishes, prayers, and everything. I send my love and hope everybody has a great day.
And before I start, I want to extend a big saludo to everyone and an apology for not being able to reply to you guys' comments. Recently, I've just been, out of town. I'm just pulling back home, so I will have some time to do so. It's just been a little hectic with going out of town and seeing doctors and stuff. But thank you everybody for taking the time to hear my message and commenting on my recordings. Gracias. Now for this story, I'm just gonna talk about some camaradas or, some guys we were working with. We were staying in Culiacan with the homie Pinky at this time. And the only señor that was with us at this time was Richie from Monteflores. And he had a little thing going with some vatos up in Guanajuato. Now at the moment, none of us knew who these vatos were. We just knew we didn't really have a lot of going on over there, And then one day he set up a meeting for us to meet and discuss a little further. And to everyone's surprise, they were a couple NR members, norteños, and there was one NF member. I believe they called him Frost, if I'm not mistaken, or he changed his name. As you guys are aware, when they're outside the territory, they usually, flip-flop names just not to leave any tracks behind. But needless to say, that he was going by Frost at this time. And, it is what it is down here in Mexico, like I stated before, we're outside our element, our territories back home in Cali. So out here, it was just about moving and getting connections, getting things done the right way, So we actually sat down and there was a lot of good movement out there, cause I don't know if everyone's aware that Guanajuato got a really strong hold. Norteños have a really strong hold out there, So there was a lot of movement happening out there. And to be sincere, I liked this one camarada, he was a norteño, but he was out there from Texas. They called him Johnny. Johnny and Star, I like both of them, but, Johnny was a really good dude. And he was just one of those little wild ones, that he didn't care about nothing really, It was like, he always been told, when you walk on the street here, put your locs on and just mind your business, just go about your business. But he was just one always getting into fights, cause there is a lot of fools out here that they challenge you basically, and he liked to be hitting up on Jaina, so it just came with what he was doing. But anyways, I like the vato a lot, and we worked together for a couple months, it was just back and forth. They had their little plugs and their avenues, and they were touching base wherever they were touching base on this side of the border, or on the other side, excuse me. and everything was working good. It's just one day we went out there to take care of some things, and it's just one of those things that somebody threw a cuatro on us, and it had to do with their side, whoever they were plugged in over there. Is envy. It's really high in Mexico, especially when they have what they call plásticos, doing moves over here. They get jealous and they start doing what they do down here, which is either backstab you or telling you so that the police removes you from the streets. So anyways, we're out there, and we ended up catching something that, in all reality, we weren't even involved. It had to do with the norteños from Guanajuato that did some BS on the streets, and it bounced back, and it bounced back while we were there. So we ended up getting picked up, all of us, and the Mexican treatment when it came to us. It don't really matter where you grew up in the States, as long as they know you come from that side. They're gonna receive you with what's a butt whooping, a good one too, and right away they either want money, or if they think you're in any way, shape, or form doing any types of moves, they want you to start giving up connections, and when we don't do that, they basically just go to town on you. But we were as always, in Los Separos for 3 days, and then from the 3 days they ended up moving us to the penal, and this penal is it was a little bit different, than the other ones I had hit. For example, I've never gone further than Barandilla, So here we passed Barandilla. They took us to a place called Área Menor. I guess it's kind of like a classification spot. You're there for less than 24 hours. Then they kick you out to Población. And once you hit Población, it was like, oh, wow, it was nothing like anywhere else. It was, just to say the least, it was different. They had restaurants where they did wood shops. They had everything you could think of, in this place. But, with me, it was, in total, it was 5 camaradas, and that includes a pili that got busted. And like I stated before, it's a norteño stronghold. So, it got really ugly for us there. But, it wasn't like other places in Mexico, that is usually, the cartel that runs things. And here it was more about gang banging, like I stated, we were pretty cool with Frost, so he ran pretty much the whole Ramfla in there. So our stay wasn't as bad as other parts. But the story I wanna, surround it around Johnny mainly, cause what tripped me out was that, norteños are, they're really against using dope, Everybody knows that, man. And I understand, they do it on the cuts and everything, but still, here it was just like they let loose, they were doing their thing on the yard, and we were with the pili, so we had to be on toes always, we couldn't use anything. And especially, in these pintas down here, they never close a bar, so you had to be on your toes 24/7. But what really tripped me out was that the vato Johnny, he started using, man. He had a cool little wife, and a daughter, and it just became a big old thing where, inside the pintas here, they have the tienditas, it's like every wing has a tiendita where you could go, buy whatever you want to buy, to be sincere. And he started not paying them because they say here, tu boca es tu deuda, es tu crédito. So basically, you could ask for whatever you want as long as you're gonna pay it, But homeboy didn't have it like that, Basically, he had a little bit that came in, but it was like food and stuff. Cause his girl, she was out there alone. So homeboy started getting into debt. And right here in Mexico, the thing is, when you start owing these people inside, they start sending you what they call talacha, So they basically send you down to do talacha, and they got this nasty ass bathrooms. They want you to scratch them with your nails, and it's just BS. They basically just humiliate you, And that's the first time that he went. I seen him. they call sacando jicamas, getting jicamas out. And what that consists of was basically being in the middle of the field, when the sun all day, I'm talking about from 6 a.m. till they closed at 6 p.m. You're out there in the field with your bare hands digging out rocks, and basically when you pay that off, the second one is the famoso guarachazos, they take you down and they give you a guarachazo for every 50 cents you owed. So I constantly was seeing homeboy, that, he was always into something. But one day I guess that he went out there to Talacha and I don't know, he got into some cat they called Diego that was part of the, the organization that was running inside of there, at least the drug area, And I don't know, I guess homeboy slapped Johnny and Johnny was about to take off when he had all those little Talibanes jumped on him. And, after that, man, we just stopped seeing Johnny, and, me not being nosy or nothing, I used to come around to Star and Frost, and always tell him like, hey, what's up with Johnny? And they would tell me like, lo arregaron, they took him down to the dungeon, and, just after we spent 2 months, man, and I've never seen Johnny. So when they ended up cutting us loose, cause like I stated, we were in no way, involved in what had occurred. It was a local thing, it was a gang thing. So they assumed it was us. So we got released. And once we got released, I just, like I stated, I thought about that was pretty firme. So I ended up asking, he introduced me to his wife and all. So I just with respect asked his wife, hey, what happened to Johnny? And, she told me they had murked him and, they ended up finding him in the trash, so they murked him inside and they threw him out with the trash of the pinta, and it's just a constant thing, when you're down here of what they do to you down here, it's just a different thing, and the reason why I'm putting this story out there is just, I just think that, it don't matter from which angle, even if you're norteño, sureño, paisa, whatever you may be, man, it's just, there's nothing in that, I met a lot of people that hit Mexico, especially those cities in the border, and they think that, they could run wild with it. And in reality, it's just crazy, but when we got out, we continued to do things with them. And, I don't know what was going on in Guanajuato, but, I think they got someone mad out there that, they started taking him out, like I remember they picked up Star and, man, they didn't kill him, but they broke almost every bone in his body, man. And then they slit his throat, from ear to ear. I'm assuming they thought he was dead and he ended up taking off. Then they got Jimmy from Stockton. I remember they found him in a hielera, I don't want to get into details, but you guys get what I'm trying to say when he was in a hielera, And, the last time that we conversed with them is, their señor, Frost. I'm not sure if he had taken off or they ended up picking him up, because I remember there was a couple in our members with them, like Gallo from Stockton and what was his name? Silent, I believe. Silent from Frisco. There was quite a few vatos, that were norteños from this side. And, one by one, it was just like, that's the thing about here, that they don't care, basically, like I stated, we're plasticos and we're outside our dorm or our round of territory, I guess you could say that, we have to abide by the rules and they don't like it, that you're down here doing your thing. And now, the big reason why I'm getting into this story about norteños, because it's gonna later surface in my story, because we had other crossings with different norteños that stayed behind, that one way or another they really got done dirty, and I just want you to please keep that names I'm putting out there right now so they can surface. And, my out goal is to talk about what I lived, I don't get in norteños business or their runnings. This is just part of my story, is why I'm even speaking about it. But it's a big betrayal that ended up happening down the line, cause, I could sincerely say, that the Billy Ritchie, he took a big loss when they started disappearing. And what I didn't know is that he alone, Frost, maybe about 10, 12 kilos, and, home would just up and disappear. But I will get better into that story. I just thought I would share this. Hopefully, if there is norteños hearing me, they could relate, and basically just hear a little bit about how it's equal down here in Mexico with all of us, really, raza, period, that comes from the state. But after this, we just decided, to stay out of Guanajuato, because for one, it was Jalisco and the cartel, local cartel. It was wild, and when they talk about sureños, it's usually, sureños they're always mixes with Sinaloa. That's a fact. Don't matter what cartel it is, they know you're a sureño and they assume right away that we work for them. So we ended up going back to Sinaloa and kept doing our things. But with this said, I'll go ahead and let you guys rest. I hope everybody's doing well. Again, I apologize. I've been MIA from the comments. I've been trying, I'm trying. So I'm hoping God gives me the strength to keep trying, But before I go, I also want to address a comment that I seen that someone has put time and time again, which is, as I appreciate everyone's comments, I hope in the story I make sense, I'm just coming back from a long trip. It was 9 hours there, was there bouncing around everywhere, and then 9 hours back, and it was some good news. It was some good news, not to the extent I expected, but good news are a blessing, so I'm thankful for that. Again, this story is in hopes, if there's norteños hearing, there's young norteños hearing, they're able to see, that even NR members, they're quick to break the rules, and you will later hear how they're quick to throw norteños under the bus too, It's in something that I guess we're equal as raza, We might be different just to those that don't really know the inner works, but at the end of the day, we're puppets to those organizations, and it ain't worth it, But again, I send my love to everyone. I hope everybody's blessed. And as always, stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. Gracias y buenas noches.